recording.
Okay. Then you can log in. Okay. Perfect. You need anything else pulled up?
No, and then this should work, just.
Yep.
Okay. No,
And if the clicker doesn't work, you can use the like side arrows on the keyboard. This should work.
$56.
oh,
Mm-mm, it's a tablet.
how are you guys?
Good.
Hey, how's it
going?
going?
Decided to get learning and social media.
Okay, well, you do such a good job already.
Getting better.
Yeah, okay.
And I was looking today and I got a good response to one of my posts. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"Yeah, cool. Now I need to go and keep it going.
Right, yeah, which that's the key, right? Just like not going in spurts and
Right.
trying to be consistent.
But
Yeah.
if you're consistently only like not that consistent, then
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's
That's
a form of
true.
consistency.
Yeah, that's true.
no consistency in how long.
Glenn.
Glad to meet you. So you're from Alabama?
Not originally. 4-year hiatus.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Play it out.
Yeah,
It's fun to get to go back.
right.
Different being. People love that.
Good morning.
Right.
It's good time.
Very cool. Figure out you can tell someone from Alabama.
Few ways I know, but what's your?
Always talks to me, 'cause they complain about how big it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be right. That's it, just like.
Reading. Yeah.
But you're
Yes. Okay, so I can email them. Yeah.
So I come over in August, I'm going up on my 1 year. 1 year here. So,
Oh, okay.
I feel like I know you somewhere and I don't know.
Oh, I'm Jack.
I'm like,
Great, nice to meet you.
are
You
you
want
on
my
my
hand?
or?
No, I actually, I'm here in office Tuesday, Thursday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I get to see.
And that's-
They're fun. So yeah, but I do.
Still
work with
building.
them.
I was
I've
still
been-
going.
And now it's all that.
Yeah. Well, and I still think about.
So sorry.
It's like React Native has their own
17 actually.
So they
Me
can
too.
change the colors of.
Which one?
Okay.
Whereas,
All right. So are you?
Oh, so John Deere.
No.
Rachel Taylor.
I started,
John Deere.
National girl.
Oh.
but I was told it was not my current husband. And I was like, oh.
Okay.
We're talking about how we're
Time to
handling
move
our
on.
colors.
Yeah.
Where would be the logo?
But the worst part is like the main signs like green, and then
That's
the
your
riders
current
are like bright
Oh,
yellow.
that's good.
I lost that.
Okay, okay.
It's fun, it's traditions. But then people think it's like Ohio, it's like a key.
Okay, I read Ohio first.
Yeah, everybody does. So like on a
Oh, I
giant
see.
t-shirt,
Yeah, I see. So what?
I love Scott.
What's your last name?
Harmon and Elsinger.
Okay.
This is when we, yeah, when we Harrison. This house very sounded like a really weird, gross European.
Yeah.
You know, we're good on that one.
That is a cool logo.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get started in a few minutes, I think, because I think we're expecting more people. So thanks for all you all for coming though. Can I just get a quick show of hands, like who uses Instagram or who doesn't use Instagram? Like, do you have an account and you just don't use it? Okay, got it. And well, and then another question, who is, who's on a team?
You've seen it?
Yeah.
Same person.
Okay. All right.
It's amazing. That's the only way I get. Hopefully.
I always, I give you the clap emoji on your story.
There should be a sign in.
Oh.
If you haven't signed in, please. Your team captains would appreciate it.
I already signed this.
Oh, you did? I just.
We're first place.
Oh, we are?
Yeah.
Nice.
So so Joe's had a bunch of, recruits.
Oh, okay.
Which don't
All right,
let
that's
you know,
really-
secret. So you get 5 points, and then you get 10 if they sign.
Yeah.
He's had a couple, I've had 2. So that's part of our being loan. But we're beating Ace's team, we're in second place. And they're going down.
How are you?
Good. Nice to see you.
Better watch out.
Ready to share some knowledge?
Josh is working on it, send it over on Friday.
Good. How about
Are you
yourself?
gonna
Good?
do like a welcome
Sure,
intro and all
why
that
not?
stuff? Yeah.
All right, guys, we'll get this thing started here. So I'm Mark James with Rapid Mortgage. I teach a lot of classes on time management, doing a business plan, managing your money. One thing that I am absolutely terrible at is social media. So I went and hired somebody smarter than I am at that to come in here and teach you guys. I've sat down with her, talked in depth as far as different things she's done for different businesses. She's got a lot of good insight, so I'm kind of excited to watch this class as well and try to pick up a few tricks. So hope you guys enjoy, and I'll let you kind of run the show.
All right, thanks,
That's it.
Mark. Okay, well, thank you all for coming. There's a few more extra people that came into the room. So show of hands who currently does not use Instagram. You may have an account, but you don't use it at all. So just a few people. So, okay. And then who is on a team? Okay, still about half the room. All right, most of what I'm going to address here is really geared toward the individual agent. Because I feel like team accounts work a little bit differently and their content strategy can be a little bit different. But if you are on a team, or maybe you manage your team's social media, a lot of this still applies. A lot of the, so we're not really going over tactics. It's more of the strategy and intention behind things. So we'll go ahead and get started. So what we're going to cover in this 50 minutes or so, the power of Instagram, how the algorithm actually works, your audience, and the big three, and 5 steps to take to make Instagram work for you. And then how we need to start looking at Instagram. Big fan of Gary Vee. Whether you like him or not, he's a smart guy. He pushes out a lot of content. For his quote, "For me, I'm only interested in one thing, the thing that binds us all together." When it comes down to it, think of social media as, first of all, the first word is social. You have to be social on there. And what we're trying to do is make connections and start conversations. That can lead to so many different things: partnerships, sales, friendships, you have it. And then the power of Instagram. So I pulled some latest numbers. Instagram, obviously, it's a storytelling app. It's really revolutionized the customer client experience. 1.22 billion people use Instagram each month. 18 to 34-year-olds make up the biggest share of Instagram's audience. That's 60% of their audience. And then 9 out of 10 users watch Instagram videos weekly, and 9 out of 10 follow at least one business account. And then Instagram speeds up the know, like, trust factor, the foundation for every relationship in business, allows you to create an experience so people get the behind the scenes, get to know you, what it's like to work with you. And then it helps create that engaged community. So which one are you? So you might be one of these 3 things. You know what to say, but you're too scared to step out of your comfort zone. You're worried about what other people are thinking. And if they care, like, what do I have to say that's so important? B, you don't have trouble showing up. You just don't know what to say. And what that strategy looks like. And then C, you know that Instagram's important, but you find yourself, not doing anything. So hopefully by the end of this, you'll have a clearer picture of, I will know what to say. I have a better idea. It doesn't mean everything's going to be perfect, or, you're going to rush out of here like, oh yeah, this is great. But at least, hopefully this gives you a better understanding and maybe changes the way that you approach social media, especially Instagram. And then a little bit about me. I guess I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Jackie Murphy. Maybe you've seen me in the building. I do come in on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I work with the ReEquity Group up on the top floor. And I've been doing social media marketing consulting for, about 16 years or so. My first business was personalized stationery. And through that, I met lots of people, did marketing, did my, I was the accounts payable person, everything. And, and obviously I don't I always get nervous when I'm presenting to groups like this. So sorry if I'm a little nervous about it, but work with tons of businesses, different industries and everything. And what, my experience comes from, there's all kinds of social media gurus out there, but my experience comes from actually doing the work with different businesses, real estate, service-based, product-based, food and beverage, hospitality. I'm just super passionate about helping others, make an impact and grow. So how the algorithm works. Instagram pays attention to what you're looking at, who you're engaging with, who's engaging with you. And that is what they use to decide what's going to show up in your feed. So just keeping that in mind, you can't just post and go about your day and then just hope that the magic happens. It takes action on your part, being proactive, and it's a give and take on Instagram. So you're sending signals to Instagram, they send you, things in your feed. So just to give you an example, there's an account I manage and, the business owners themselves go onto the account. And, I start looking at their feed and all these cat videos are coming up. And I'm like, okay, they're clearly going on here looking at cat videos. So I even said something, I was like, if you've been looking at cat videos a lot and, engaging and searching cat reels or something, they're like, yeah, why? And I said, because that's what's now showing up in your feed, and so I'm like, kind of have to switch that. So if you find, you're starting to find, I don't know, a bunch of cooking videos, for instance, it is because it is taking what you are searching and giving you more of that, thinking that's what you want to see. So being mindful of that, as far as if you're just like, I haven't seen that business's feed in a while, or I haven't, I follow so-and-so, but I haven't seen anything from them. Go seek them out and you'll probably be surprised that you'll see, that they have been posting, but because you didn't engage and, give and take with them, they're not being shown in your feed. So to get Instagram to work for you, you have to know these things. Know your audience. You have to have that audience engaged and activated. That makes the algorithm happy. And then you have more reach and sales. So, and it's quality over quantity. If you want to grow, you just have to remember your current audience is going to work for you. But again, it's that give and take. They're going to help drive your engagement. They're going to help lead you to the ideal people because, as you form that relationship with other people, your followers, people you follow, they, some of them end up becoming ambassadors for you. They're sharing your content, they're sharing your stories, they're talking about you. So here's the 3 things that we're going to focus on as far as your marketing go. Expertise, relatability, and emotion. If anything, those are the 3 things that should be top of your mind when you are trying to figure out what content am I sharing. Expertise, you want to establish that you know what you're doing, your experience, through, and you do this in various ways, through how-tos, through stories you tell, client success. Relatability. I mean, we all want to, actually, I'm going right here. Yeah, relatability. We all, people want to do business with people that they have something in common with. We all know, I'm not a realtor, so I can tell you, I probably know just in my neighborhood alone, I live in Clintonville. I mean, I know quite well, probably a dozen at least realtors live on my street, live, a few blocks away in my church and community, my school. All of that. So it's just like, how do you set yourself apart? You are 100% you. No one has all of your interests, your personality, all those things. So you do have to show yourself because again, that's that relatability. That's going to make someone want to lean in and say, okay, I want to get to know them more. I'm going to follow them. And then emotion. We're all emotionally tied, like those stories, or just think about the commercials that, I don't know, there's some really clever commercials out there, but the ones that just like tug at your heart, that just, get you to think, I don't know, to have empathy, to think, oh, that's me too. Those are the types of things that people remember when it comes to posts. So just an example, I mean, we can easily say, hey, closing day, okay, that's great, another closing day. But it's like when that closing day has a picture of the happy couple there, and you're like, oh, they really relocated here because of this. We searched for this many homes and, we finally did it, or, all of those things. You kind of, again, you're using it as a storytelling piece. So step 1, and this might seem very basic, but you'd be surprised, and you can pull out your phone, and I don't mind if you pull out your phones to look at things too. Step 1, be crystal clear about what you do, who you serve, and who you are in your bio. So when it all comes down to it, whether you have a current follower that's look, you're in their feed and they decide to tap on your profile just to remind themselves, maybe, because they've met a lot of people, you follow a lot of accounts. So to remind themselves of like, who is this person again? Why did I follow them? Your bio should be very clear because they're going to look at it and within a few seconds make a judgment. So your bio needs to be very, very clear. And then you're sharing your experiences, locations, stories, value, and all of that stuff. So we're going to talk about the bio a little bit. What to include in your bio. So this is for an optimized bio. One, you want a photo of you. Now, if you're a team, that's different. That's where you'd have your team logo or what have you, or if you were a brick and mortar store. But in most cases, I mean, people are doing business with you, and this is your business account. So a photo of you, and I suggest a professional headshot, or if you can, or even if a friend takes a picture of you, but having a non-competing background so people can clearly see your face. Your name. So this part, obviously you have your handle. So my handle, for instance, is Queen Bee Jackie. So this part right here where it says social media marketing, that's my name, right? That's the name part. So I don't want to put Queen Bee Jackie there because it's already in my handle. And all of this is keyword searchable, especially this name part right here. So that's why I put social media and marketing for people to, they might be searching that. The bio part, which is the part right here, that's your power statement. That's where, briefly, because you only have, limited number of characters, you're briefly stating what you do, what you represent. And I like, it's kind of like a what to expect from my account. So you don't have to put everything all real estate on here because, it's very likely that you're using, again, team account is separate. This is for you, your individual business Instagram account. It's more than likely going to be a mix of different things because you're more than a realtor. You are many other things. It's just deciding what else you feel like you're going to share content wise, whether it's in your posts or your reels or your stories, but what else you're into, whether it's yoga, cooking, interior design, what have you. If those are the types of things that you're going to be, showing in your content, then you might want to, put it up here in your bio. Call to action, which here I have a little more here, so you can't really see, but the call to action, it's a good idea to have that call to action of and it would be the last line right before the URL that people can click. So that call to action could be a number of things. Search for homes here, join my, email list. It could be book. I know I've seen a lot of realtors have their Calendly link there. It's like book a consultation with me, call to set up an appointment, some sort of call to action there. It could be as simple as visit my website if you want. If you don't have a website, it could go to your LinkedIn page. It could go to your Facebook page. You could set up a Linktree, which is a free app you can use where you have a menu of things. And even if that Linktree then takes people to Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever. So yes, number 5 would be the website, and then location. Especially within the business that you are in, it's good for people to know where you are. But my biggest pet peeve is when I'm looking up a restaurant or something, and I look it up on Instagram and I can't tell if it's in Columbus or not, so that might be a pretty common restaurant name. So I'm like, well, is this in Indiana? Is it in Cincinnati? I don't know. So that location is quite important, especially for what you all do, so people know that, you're local.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
So where were you putting that information? In the bio, or I see looking at the profile
Uh-huh.
and it's got websites, so assume you can put your website there.
Yes.
But everything else you're just kind of putting in the profile, the
Yes.
bio.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep. And what I suggest, like one of the things that I do is, you can change your handle only like every 14 days. If you change too frequently, it'll tell you like, oh, you can't change this now. You just changed it or whatever. That I suggest looking at your bio like quarterly and just kind of like, tweaking it, saying like, is this all true? Or maybe you've come across somebody else's bio, or you've thought of other things, or you've changed the type of content you're sharing. Maybe you did yoga before and now you're just like more into, maybe there's a social cause or something that you'll be talking a lot about. So you might put that into your bio. So just kind of look at that. But what I do is I take the bio and I copy and paste it into the notes on my phone or Google Doc that I can access online. And I actually keep a running history of my bios because once you replace it, it's gone. You can't get it back. So I like to then see what I've used it in, previous times in case I want to reuse something. So I just keep like a little running history. So does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Under pronouns, so I feel like he, him.
Yeah. Or whatever you'd like to.
Great.
Okay, step 2, create shareable and savable content your audience wants to see. From posts to reels, create content that's educational, entertaining, inspiring, or informative. Those are kind of the 4 kind of main areas of content. And if I were you, I would go for a minimum of 3 posts a week. But by all means, do what you can actually sustain. So maybe you're doing posts, 2 or 3 posts a week, but then you can do more stories, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. So remember, Instagram's a storytelling app, so use stories as often as you can in your captions. Again, that's what I was talking about, like digging a little further into like that closing day post of, talking about your clients and the success and the emotions and, things like that. And including a strong headline and CTA, which is call to action to drive engagement, and using the word you. So, try to get away from, starting your captions with we, or I did this, or, we believe in this. It's like, no one cares. It's, people are following you because ultimately they want something, like what's in it for me? I'm going to learn something, or I'm going to be entertained, or, we're going to form some sort of relationship. So here's like the 4, how I've broken down 4 types of content. And I have in parentheses, don't be salesy. So broken down into informational, educational, entertaining, inspiring, or motivational. So here's some examples. And these are more, I've included real estate examples, but obviously a lot of your personal content would, can fall into some of these, especially when it comes to maybe motivational or entertaining. But some examples of informational, obviously the real estate related stuff like open houses and new listings, events in your community or neighborhood, what's going on, the farmer's market, when fireworks are, things like that are happening in the areas within which you farm or work or whatever. Housing market statistics. Educational would be different how-tos, how to get started, how to prep for a listing, how to get pre-approved, definitions of defining different things, for people, talking about the home buyer or the seller journey, showing your expertise. The entertaining stuff, this is, we all go on the Instagram to be entertained and look at the cat videos and cooking and dancing and whatever. So something entertaining, and then inspirational, which could be things that you're into, could be, quotes that you like, could be the client success stories. Talking a little bit about the captions, here's some examples of headlines and CTAs. And by the way, I'm going to email the presentation to you, so you will have this if you don't want to take notes or whatever. But some different examples for headlines. And that headline, think about when people are going through the feed or even on a reel, you only see 1 to 2 of the first line, 1 to 2 lines of the caption. So that's prime real estate there. So you don't want to waste it by, with fluff stuff. You really you want people to lean in, you want people to tap on them more, or the little dots to see the full caption. Not that they're going to exactly read it all, but still the hope is that they do. So some different headlines, there's the how-to category, how to begin your journey to home ownership. The numbers category, 3 simple steps. People always this is the top thing to do. This is the number 1 thing. These are the top 5. Questions, feeling overwhelmed with your home search, thinking about what are the emotions that your clients are going through. They're frustrated. They just don't know. And, they don't know what they don't know. They think they don't have enough money, all these things, but just, again, we're playing into that not playing into it, but we're using that emotion to make that connection. Relatability, such as that closing day feeling. Curiosity and desire, don't miss this. And then calls to action. So you have your headline, then you have your caption, with the meat and potatoes of what you're trying to say, and ending it with a call to action, 1 or 2 calls to action, depending. So different examples of call to actions. And I actually have, I'll make sure when we email out, I've got a spreadsheet, or I've got a PDF of sample call to actions, that maybe you could just, you just kind of use however. So question, and again, the calls to action are to provoke conversation, to cause people to possibly comment, to make, cause them to DM you during that conversation. So it could be asking a question, what does homeownership mean to you? This or that, what's your favorite app for house hunting? A click or DM. So again, ending your caption with DM me and let's be in your home search. A save and share, save this post to come back to it later, save this post, or share it with someone you think, could use the help. And then the, quick and easy one is drop an emoji if you feel this way, or, yes or no, hand up, hand down. And then my pro tips for captions is it's all about readability. Keep it conversational. So, read it out loud. After you write your caption, read it out loud, see if there's like any weird, awkward parts. It doesn't flow off the tongue. Make sure it's, you're not using too big of words. And then, because there might be a name for something or a different program or a different product, but if no one knows what that is, it's meaningless to them. So again, you're just trying to keep it really simple and understandable. Line break often. I mean, I'm a big believer in line breaks because nothing like seeing that caption and it's like just a big chunk of text followed by a group of hashtags and it's like, no, just keep on, it's like your eye has to work too hard to read that. So line break often, and then use emojis and symbols. Those are always good to just, again, break up the text, give your eye something to focus on. Step 3, create personal connections and invite your audience in through reels and stories. So talking a little about stories first. Does everybody use stories? Know what stories are? Okay, so there's different places that you can put content in Instagram. So your post lives on your grid. So if you go to your profile, you're going to see your bio, you're going to see all of the all of your grid there. Those are your posts. The stories exist. Okay. So, when you go to your feed, you'll see all of these little circles up at the top, above your feed. And those are people that have active stories. Stories are not on someone's grid. Stories are only up for 24 hours. So it's a great way for people to get a peek into your life. Let's see, go back to right here. Okay. Stories are only seen by your followers unless you allow for your stories to be shared, publicly. But stories are really good for, everybody is always into, or they always want, I want new followers, I want more followers. I want new clients, I want more clients. But remember, you have to take care of the people that have already taken the first step and started following you. So you have to, you don't want to let them down by not posting, not giving content. It's like, why did I follow you? If you're just going to clog up, you're just another, I might as well just unfollow you if you're not going to put any content out that I want to consume. So stories are a good way to take it a little bit further with your followers. You can put video in there, you can do tips. It could be, hey, I'm walking into, I'm about to meet clients at this, this house in Pickerington. It could be you're showing a neighborhood, could be day in the life. I mean, really, it could be what you're eating, where you are, because you're tagging the location too, like, hey, I'm at the New Worthington Tavern, checking it out, that sort of thing. And, those things might seem mundane. Again, you're doing what interests you and what you normally do. You're not just making things up just to put it out there. But what those things do is, again, it's showing like, do I have anything in common with this person? Why am I following them? You'd be surprised. It's that type of content that's, oh, I've been wanting to go there. What's it like? I mean, next thing you know, you see a DM pop up with someone asking about that place, or they see you're in Pickerington. Oh, are you really familiar with Pickerington? Do you, are you familiar with the school system? Things like that. Again, those things start conversation. They may be related to real estate, they may not be. Again, it's all about starting a conversation and building that relationship. We got to date first before we get married. So you have to, it's step by step. But yes, stories are where you really bond with your current followers and your audience. I think it's just, it doesn't have to be polished. It can be just quick and easy. And you just move on. The more stories you share, the more opportunities you give your audience to contact you. That really does, because they know that the closing day photos, they already expect that stuff from you. So it's just like, what's the other stuff in your life going on? So just try not to overthink them. And then Reels. So here's, just some numbers about video. I know we all know video is very popular. We watch over 1 billion hours of YouTube videos a day, more than Netflix and Facebook video combined. Average user spends 88% more time on a website with video. 500 million people use Instagram stories daily also. And then Instagram announced last week that they're consolidating all videos to Reels. So what that means exactly, don't know, quite sure, but, you could post a video and it's going to look different on different people's accounts. Like right now, I can still post a video and it's not a reel, but probably in a week or two, or it could be a few months from now, how they are always rolling out updates and it changes for everybody at different times. It could be when you post a video, it just automatically makes it a reel. So it's just, so don't be so scared about the word reel. And reel doesn't mean you have to dance or lip sync or anything like that. I mean, it could be just straight up you talking.
Hey Jackie, does that mean that the videos that are longer are just gonna be reels? now?
Mhm.
Like it's
Yes.
that other, yeah. Well, right now there's like that other, tab or whatever for longer form.
Well, yes, and that
videos.
exists on most accounts now, but pretty soon it won't be.
It'll
And
just be
it'll
one.
just be, you post reels and tagged.
I think that would
basically.
be interesting, because at least when we do longer form videos,
Mhm.
the views are people don't have an attention span that long.
Right,
But it
right.
would be nice if it would be in the reels just to show.
Yeah.
up for-
That means they're public also.
Yeah,
So, which, I mean, for your business account, that's, but just keep
Yeah.
in mind, like for your personal account, if you're,
Yeah.
video and you want your kids, that sort of thing. So,
sure, okay.
but yeah, that was, like I said, just announced last
Yeah.
week. So, it will slowly roll out into people's apps.
So Jackie, can I ask a question?
Yes.
On some of the posts, I see the print comes,
Captions.
the captions come up. Is that done internally and
It's actually auto-generated. You can actually go and say you don't want it to generate the caption. So, whether you're in this, like, it's kind of the same in story and in reel. If you go to the stickers, there's actually a captions option you can choose, and it will transcribe your audio. And so, you could choose different fonts for doing that. But then also Instagram used to not auto-generate, but now they just auto-generate your captions for you. So it should come up. It doesn't come up right away. So you can hit publish and it won't show up right away, but probably usually within the hour. I'd say, I never timed it, but it's like, I might look at it then later and the captions are there. And sometimes though, they've generated the captions, but I've already used the caption sticker. So then I'll go in and say, hit the 3 dots to edit or manage my reel and just say, turn off the auto-generated captions.
Can you tell me the difference between a story and a reel? Is that right?
Yes, so the story doesn't live on your grid. It doesn't live anywhere except for 24 hours on the app. So it disappears at 24 hours. And you can then see your past stories. Like if you go to your menu and archive, if you haven't selected that, but if you haven't selected this way, you can see your past stories, but nobody else can. So whereas a reel, it can or cannot, you choose whether or not you post it to your grid or not. And lives on there as, part of your profile. Any other questions? All right, step 4, connect and grow with the genuine and intentional engagement. So I mentioned this before, if you remember, we're being social, it's social media. If you don't engage on Instagram, if you just post and then leave and do nothing else, you're not going to get very far on Instagram. There's no point in sharing anything unless you're going to engage with other people. If wondering how to get started with engagement, or you think, okay, I really stink at engagement, or I don't know what to do, so the next slide, we'll talk about a few other things, but connecting with similar like-minded people, looking for looking for things that you are generally interested in, like especially within the community, restaurants, your gym, things like that, and think about where your clients are going to and what they care about. And I would suggest engaging for a minimum of 15 minutes a day. I mean, if you can do longer, that would be better, but I know your lives are pretty busy. But that just, keeps you on top of mind. So one of the things you can do also is use and search hashtags and locations of your ideal clients and customers, what they're using. Again, when I said follow organizations, business, personal brands that you even want to just connect, not thinking about, I want them to be a client, but I just want to connect. I want to learn from them. Maybe I can partner with them, that sort of thing. Also sharing their content. That's a form of engagement, just like, I don't know, Experience Worthington, Experience Columbus, depending on what community you're in, Visit Dublin, any of those, they always have content about the community. That's easy content for you to share to your, you take your post, to tap on the little share icon, which looks like a little paper airplane, share it to your stories. That does a few things. It's helping out the original, creator of that content. It's sending them a notification that you shared their content. So they're like, oh, who's this that's sharing their content? 2, it's sharing something of value to your followers, showing that you're in the know, that you care about them, you think that this will be something they care about. And again, it could start that conversation as well. Some things about engagement. So here's just different ways to engage. One is engaging with your feed. So that is who you follow. So what's being shown in your feed, those are the people you've chosen to follow. So you're liking, leaving comments when appropriate. Again, we're not, just liking it, double tapping everything, leaving comments on everything, but these are like meaningful comments, when you feel it's appropriate. Liking or replying to comments on your posts or when you're tagged, so make sure you look at your notifications. It's the little heart icon, and that's where you see your new followers. That's where you see so-and-so liked your post. You see where people tagged you or commented. Acknowledge that, not, just don't take that for granted. And one of the things that I do, like one of the tactics I use for engagement. So when you're in your notifications and, you see the just list of things, the little profiles that you see, little thumbnail profiles, if they have that little color ring around their profile, that means they have an active story. So I automatically will even just go through that, and I'll click on all the people who have active stories. Because stories, you can actually view who looked at your story. Posts, you have no idea who looked at it. You know who liked it, but you don't know who looked at it. Stories, you actually see all the viewers that viewed that story. So that's one of the first things I do. Notifications, kind of breeze through that and see if I need to reply back to people or comment back or whatever. And then I go through the active stories, because then I'm showing up on their radar and they're going to see my name. Yes.
Quick question, I've always wondered, as far as like, when you get a bunch of people that will comment on your stuff,
Yeah.
What's the best way to go about that? I mean, I typically would just go through and either love or laugh
Yeah.
everybody's comments and do like a big blanketed type comment to everybody,
Yeah.
depending on what it is. Or, because obviously going through and commenting on each single one.
Yeah.
I've done that too. and I'm like,
Right.
that's exhausting.
Well,
I'm not doing that again.
at the very minimum, you want to like every comment.
Yeah,
Because then that shows, A, you saw it.
right.
And two, you took the, like you appreciate it.
Yeah.
Taking a step further, I think it'd be nice to reply individually to each comment. And the thing is, it could be a public reply where you hit reply, or it could be where you tap on them and you maybe direct message them instead. But at least liking all the comments shows that you saw them.
Right.
And yeah, I just think that acknowledgement is key. People want to know that you're paying attention and that you're just not out there just to like get their likes and get their engagement, and you have to give it back too. So it's, and then if you do just if you just add your own comment to the thread, just thanking everybody, I think it'd be better just to, even if you say the same thing to everybody, if they're just like, oh, good job, or congrats, it's, even if you say thank you to each person, the same thing, I think that's way better, because then that person gets a notification that you replied back to their comment. And again, it just, your name gets back in their notifications. Using Instagram stories to connect with your followers even further. I think we talked about that already. Taking advantage of the stickers, like you can use it for market research, asking questions, poll questions, like a this or that. I tend to see a lot of this or that, interior design related, but it could be, one day you do an ask me anything, related to the lending process, or ask me anything regarding the search process. And the thing is, you have to keep in mind when you're doing that in stories, and I've been guilty of this, ask a question and then the 24 hours comes up and I was like, oh, I forgot to look at all of, or I forgot to reply to everybody. So again, because it's only up for 24 hours, you only have that 24-hour window to see those answers and those replies and everything, or people's votes. And what I would do, so in that 24 hours, you need to just open up all those replies and just acknowledge, thank them for, whatever, for answering, or it could be like, oh, hey, how are the kids, by the way, or, how's the house, something to it. Again, you're acknowledging, and it's that conversation. So, if you can, I try to do this is set my alarm. If I know, like, okay, I posted this poll question at 11 o'clock this morning, then tomorrow at like 9 o'clock, I'm going to set my alarm to then go and look at those questions and the answers. And then, maybe I'm going to be sharing them in stories, or at the very least, I need to reply and acknowledge all of those.
Jackie, I
yeah.
have a question since you brought up
Yeah.
timing. You might have addressed this later, but is there a optimal time of day or time of week to put those posts out? I've heard so many different theories about it.
When it comes to social media, what I've learned over the last few years, but pre-COVID, for all of the accounts that I manage, I knew like clockwork, for these accounts, because it is different for everybody's accounts, because everybody has different followers with different behaviors and different jobs and wake up times and sleep times and things. So before COVID, it was like, I knew these types of accounts post on these times and days. And with COVID, I think that just got really messed up, because then everybody's at home and they're on Instagram all the time. And then it's like those times and days actually got skewed. And I feel like it hasn't gone back to, I'm not able to pinpoint like this is the sweet spot for, unless it's like certain things. So again, it all depends on who your followers are. So let's just say a lot of your followers are moms with kids in school, like, okay, Saturday mornings where, they're gonna be at the soccer field down at Whetstone, for games all morning, or they're gonna be doing this because their kids are gymnastics or whatever, then you already know like what times to maybe stay away from. Again, that's why it's just important to see, like, pay attention, keep track of like when people like your posts, and I like testing it out too. Maybe for a few weeks, you just post mornings, maybe it's 8 a.m. in the morning or 7 a.m. in the morning, see how that does. And then the next 2 weeks, try noon. And then the next 2 weeks, try 9 p.m. If you go to Instagram Insights for everybody, pretty much, I feel like it says the same thing, like 9 p.m. or, as far as the ideal times or whatever. So That doesn't really answer your question, but that's what I have found in my experience. Last thing is make sure you check your inbox. So when you go to your inbox on Instagram, there's like primary, general, and then requested. And the requested is going to be people who that are you're not following, or they may not even be following you too. And they're going to come, and that may be where a new lead is living. It could be someone, messaged you there and it just doesn't show up in your primary, but they're like, hey, John told me about you. So, was wondering if we can just like have a quick chat or meet for coffee or whatever. So make sure you check all of those DMs, those direct messages, and respond to those. And then of course, there's always the spammy ones and, just delete. Step 5, give more than you get and be consistent. I can't stress enough. I feel like there's a lot of different things that are being put out there on Instagram by different creators and influencers and social media gurus that I feel like they have a whole team of people that they hire. They have content creators. I mean, Gary Vee has like, I don't know how many people working for him, but you're in the business for real estate and you have a personal life and you have other obligations, like this should not be, you shouldn't be spending that much time on it. So you have to come up with a strategy that works for you. The consistency is the key. So if you're going to be a 2 post a week person, then make sure, embrace that. Go for 2 posts a week. It doesn't have to be always a Tuesday and a Friday or whatever. Just make sure it's like I get 2 good posts a week and use stories again to kind of fill in with, staying on top of mind, staying on the radar. That gives people the glimpse. And that's the stories are what, your followers, again, you're taking care of your followers. Find your minimum, whatever that is. If you like to pump out content, you want to be on there every day, have at it. But I know there's 30-day challenges and it's all about what can you sustain. Like you may be able to do the 30-day challenge where I'm going to do, 5 reels a week, or, I'm going to do a post a day, but then what happens after those 30 days? I mean, to me, I would be totally burnt out. And then I would just stop doing it. I'm like, I'm going to take a break. And then, so stop chasing, start serving. Remember who you are, what you're doing, why you're doing this, that this is not the end of the world or anything. And, but again, keeping those things in mind about, I want to show my expertise. I want to be relatable. I'm using emotion. Those are the things that, I just want to keep in mind when I'm trying to figure out what I'm posting. Look at your Instagram as a physical store. So actually I borrowed this from someone. I really like this. Your bio is your billboard, your grid is your storefront, and your stories are the open door. Like, come check this out. This is me. And, I can't tell you or stress enough, like showing your face. I know we all get like, I don't want to be on video, or I don't want to show my face, or I don't want to talk or whatever. But I mean, that's how people, I want to know who I'm going to be doing business with. I want to know who I'm going to be hiring. I want to know, so getting those glimpses really help people, it makes them comfortable. They're more likely to reach out to you if they already know what you sound like, what you talk like, what you think about, what matters to you. So kind of to recap your Instagram game plan, post to your feed, minimum, I'm gonna say the goal is a minimum of 3 times a week. This includes reels. Share your stories most days. Rotate content between entertaining, inspirational, educational, informative. Engage intentionally for 15 minutes a day minimum, and just be awesome. Like you all have, again, it's that uniqueness, when you're like, what does, oh, look at what so-and-so is doing. It's just like, who cares? It's, what value you bring to the table, and how you can help people. And, no one else is going to be a bigger cheerleader than you are. So you have to tell people, or they're not going to call you, or they're not going to engage and start that relationship. Is it work? Yes, but it's totally worth it. And, it's not going to be instant. It is, and I focus on organic social media. Like I barely do any paid stuff. So it's, Who has money to, you know, I want to put money toward other things, not toward my social media. So again, I'd rather form those organic, real relationships and have those conversations in the DMs and have people asking me, you know, they could go 2 years asking me like what parks I like to hike at. And I'd rather have that than, you know, just like crickets and no conversations, no questions. Because, you know, guess what? Someone's going to ask them like, hey, do you know any realtors? Or, hey, do you know, like, I'm finally ready, or my kids are ready, or what? And you've already built that rapport up. So, you know, I coach a lot of realtors with, you know, how to do their Instagram better. And I know like there's resources here, but I mean, you can always like, I encourage you to follow me, but you can always ask me any questions, you know, like, and I will help in any way I can, answer in it, you know, any way I can. Might send you a screen record video on how to do something. I'm here Tuesdays and Thursdays also upstairs, but it just takes practice, and it might seem like it takes forever in the beginning, but then it gets easier and easier. You know, but I hope that this kind of changes the way maybe you think about it or the way you approach it. You know, in an hour, we couldn't really go over tactics or, you know, how to make a reel or anything like that, but I'm happy to talk about that with anybody afterwards or anytime. You know, but just remember, it's about being social. The engagement is key, not just posting, and just, you know, just knowing and being confident in that, okay, someone is watching this. You know, that's one thing I've learned too. You don't know who's looking at your social media. You don't know who's sharing it. You might see the shares, but you have no idea who they're sending it to. And then next thing you know, you get a phone call or a DM like, hey, so-and-so shared this with me. I'm like, oh, I haven't heard from them and, you know, forever. I didn't even know they saw my content. You know, you just never know. It does kind of go out in the universe. So you just have to kind of put it out there and then, okay, put it out there. I'm going to move on with my day and not dwell on it or anything. So that's it. Thank you again. Follow me at Queen Bee Jackie. I give tips and fun stuff. I am a big cocktail drinker and I like to go out to eat. So I'm always sharing food and how to make cocktails and all that stuff too. So that's it. Does anybody have any questions? Okay.
Are there any like individual agents that you see either in our marketplace or even outside of Columbus that you're like, follow this person and copy what they do?
Okay, the ones that come to the top of my mind would be I might not know her last name, Priscilla Columbus.
Johnson?
I think so. She's
Yeah,
at,
Keller Williams.
yes,
Classic
yeah,
Properties.
she's at a different brokerage. Carol Greenzalis. I can't tell you where she's at. But she moved to, I know she relocated here a few years ago. She's on a team. But I think her Instagram business page is, it's a good mix of personal and real estate and things like that. Let's see, I'm trying to think of who else. I mean, there's a lot of great ones. I feel like Brad Winter does a lot of video content. So which I go to and look at every now and again. You know, those are some to maybe check out. I'm sure you all have your favorites too that you look at. And you know, a question I do get asked a lot, like, should I have a personal account and a business account? First of all, you do want a business account because you can see insights. So if you are on Instagram and using it for business, even just a fraction of your account you're using for business, make sure you switch your account to a professional account. That way you get to see demographics, shares, you get insights, you know, how many followers and what you can see what content, reach, likes, saves, shares, how many new followers you get from a post, that sort of thing. Because then you can look at that, make decisions about, okay, this is the content I know is always gonna result in this. So this is the content, I show my face, I'm gonna get likes, but there's no comments. Or I'm going to show this educational, but that gets the most saves and shares, and again, it's about having a mix of all of that. You need all of that, because it's always like real estate, how-to stuff, it's just like after a while, then like, oh, I bought my home. What am I gonna do now? I don't need to follow you anymore. So it's like, that's why you need to have a mix of things. So as far as going back to the personal and business account, I mean, that's totally up to you. I don't think there's a right or wrong way to do it. Me personally, I just have the one account. One, I just don't want two different accounts for myself. So, and my strategy is to do a combination of my life, family, interests and business all mixed together. And it used to be very personal and, just migrated more to business. So you're always going to get people that unfollow you, but that's fine. If they don't want to see that type of content, then, we don't need them. So, yeah.
Do you have a percentage or like 75% of your content should really be about real estate and what your niche is, and then 25% should be other content, personal, etc.
No, I mean, let's just say you're going for the 3 posts a week. It really depends on what's going on in your real estate life too. I mean, sometimes there's just times of year or times of the month where you're just busier, where there's just more going on. Let's just say, May, you're kicking ass. There's like all these closings that were taking place. So it's like, May there are just more opportunities for more real estate content heavy, stuff. So, and then other months, maybe summer's slower. I mean, that, and you see this in businesses too. Summer generally tends to be a little bit slower. So the content is going to be more casual. It's going to be less about maybe product and service, more about maybe mindfulness and life and, family and extracurricular stuff. So it just depends. But as far as, you need to work that in, because let's remember when someone, maybe they just heard from you, think of Instagram as like a little mini search engine too. Party, someone says your name, so someone automatically goes to Instagram. I Google and I look on Instagram if I learn of some new business or person or something. So I want to see what kind of presence they have. Are they out there? And I want to see their face and what they're like. So again, they're going to your profile and they're going to quickly read your profile. So they have to know very clearly that you're a realtor. And then they're going to look at maybe your top 9 images. So in that top 9 images, they're going to make a decision like within 3 seconds of, do I want to keep on scrolling and see what else there is? Do I even want to tap on one of those images to read a caption? So in those 9 images, there should be something real estate related in there, whether it's like market statistics, closing, I'm doing an open house, something, and then mixed in with all the other stuff. That's fun. So kind of keep that in mind. So if we're talking about top 9 and you're doing 3 posts a week, so like 1 post a week being real estate. Any other questions? And I went through that really fast, so. Okay, well, thank you. And thank you to Rapid Mortgage too.
Yes.
Oh, thanks.
Learn some stuff.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just reminded me how big of a hack I am.
Take a picture of what you
Oh,
were
Oh, yeah, sure.
Top of my head, like, is there like a target number of followers to be considered like a successful Instagram page?
It's more of engagement. It's more about the engagement percentage. 'Cause I mean,
Okay.
and the thing is, like, the more followers you have,
But Jamie's
the
really
more
good at putting
actually
the text.
So it's real, and I want to say like her business accounts. Engagement percentage is like 1%. So if your engagement is higher than that, then that's good. So, I mean, I'd rather have 2,000 followers, but have like people commenting, saving, sharing, and DMs, than I would 10,000 followers, but it's like people like doing nothing. You know, so-
There's gonna be like personal.
There's nothing bad. No.
Hey, how are you?
Not at all, no, you know, people,
That's you.
many people have also the option. They'll have their file, they'll be contacted.
Oh, yeah.
You can set that, and choose your email and your. You know, or you don't want people to call you, just your email, but at least.
Came over here for the class.
Right.
So it's just easier to contact you. and it's just, Get to see the size. Which are really cool. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Let's just get it done.
Bring it back.
You don't like all the umbrellas?
Jackie, great class, thank you, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thanks.
Um,
No, wait, take my card.
TikTok, I did a TikTok one last week, and so they have now changed their algorithm to engagement matters.
Oh, yes.
Which I know, I didn't realize that.
One, two, three.
Good weekend.
It's actually pretty relaxing. I haven't had in a long time, so.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not.
I gotta change my other one, it's Colton Mail Review. So
Oh.
it's more Colton